Here is your General Hospital Spoilers sneak peek video with a scene airing on Tuesday, May 27, 2025. Willow and Drew were still smiling from ear to ear even after Wiley suddenly called out "Daddy" from the stage. Perhaps they thought they finally had Wiley under Drew's spell, and he had learned to call Drew Daddy. Then they saw him run into Michael's arms, and the smiles faded. When Michael waltzed out of the ballroom with Wiley in his arms, telling him they were going home, all Willow and Drew could do was stand there stunned. Carly and Sunny also seemed stunned, with Carly giving Jocelyn the side-eye. However, Willow finally snaps out of it and is ready to fight Michael, but the advantage she thought she had has now vanished as Michael takes charge. Michael gets Wiley outside the ballroom and tells his son they are not going back to Uncle Drew's house. Instead, they are going to have a sleepover at Grandma Carly's, and he's made sure Amelia is already there. Wiley thinks this is a fine idea and can't wait. When Michael picks up Wiley once again, he spots Willow and Drew exiting the ballroom and happily waves, calling out, "Bye, Mommy," as Michael walks away with Wiley and doesn't look back. Willow is devastated that Michael took off with his own son after all these months. She was generously going to offer him 2 weekends a month, and now can't believe he would do such a thing. Willow and Drew try to go after Wiley and Michael, but Jason appears and stops them, telling them that it would be a bad idea to chase Michael right now. It seems clear that Michael was the mysterious person who called Jason while he was at the PCPD with Aunt Tracy. But who called Michael and alerted him to a little custody trial problem in Port Charles? Could it have been his sister Jocelyn, who did her best to get Carly to call Michael last week? Carly sure seems to think so. You can watch the full video here. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The General Hospital Nurses Ball finally wraps up on Tuesday, with the fallout of Michael's return and the Geo reveal continuing to stun lives in Port Charles. While it offered a whole lot of fun and more than its fair share of drama, some prominent Port Charles residents were conspicuously missing from the big event. Seriously, where was the mayor and her husband? This is one of the biggest events in Port Charles all year, yet the mayor couldn't be bothered to show up. We didn't even get an explanation for her absence. Laura is even a member of the hospital board and made a speech at the cardiac wing dedication in April, yet she missed the nurses' ball. Make it make sense. Has been since last November. Maybe he's moved to the Washington, D.C. area. Ava has been a top performer at the ball in the past. Her fabulous rendition of "You Don't Own Me" stole the show in 2018, as did her version of "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" in 2019. We're sure she could have pulled off something just as fabulous this year. Even if she didn't perform, why wasn't she there, causing drama with Rick? Their absence was glaring and took something away from the action, especially since there were some scenes that didn't have to take place in Alexa's living room. We did see Rick for 2 scenes the day the red carpet festivities began. He dropped off some papers for Alexis that led to Alexis eventually blurting out to Christina that she knew her nutjob daughter had cut the brakes on Rick's car. So let's get this straight. GH took the trouble to get Alexis and Christina all dressed up in their nurses' ball attire, only to have them never make it to the ball. Meanwhile, Ava and Rick could have been there, goading Alexis and Christina, and that's where Alexis' reveal could have taken place. Instead, it fell completely flat because it didn't feel like it belonged in the episode. Yes, we know Elizabeth couldn't have danced with her nurses in the opening number like she does each year, thanks to General Hospital unnecessarily giving her a broken leg, but she couldn't have attended on crutches. Instead, we got some weird scenes of Elizabeth watching the ball from her couch that seemed to be randomly inserted into Friday's episode at the last minute. And Lucky? Oh, he was out doing a quick errand for the entire hour. Okay, Lucas got all dressed up in a tux just to watch the ball with Liz from her couch in the odd scenes mentioned above. Why wasn't he at the ball with his new boyfriend, Marco, who could have caused some drama with his dad, Jen Sidwell? Instead, after all the hype of Sidwell underwriting the ball, he was there as a glorified extra, smiling and applauding, while barely doing a thing or saying a word. If the family GAs made sure to give him had attended the ball, things would have been a lot more interesting. General Hospital spoilers suggest that fans can feel as if Drew Kane's secret affair with Nina Reeves is on the cusp of being revealed. After all, it was a very stupid move for the cutthroat congressman to frame Tracy Quartermaine for his ketamine drugging when he knew it wasn't her. Drew thinks he got the better of Tracy, but he should never have underestimated his aunt. That's because Tracy has known about his secret fling with Nina for a while now, and was waiting for the best time to step forward with it. As it stands, the time may be now. Tracy will be a tad preoccupied with helping her newfound grandson, Giovanni Gio Palmieri, adjust to his new Quartermaine birthright, while also offering a support system to Brooklyn Quartermaine Chase. This could mean it'll take a hot minute before she places her attention on revenge against Drew for having her arrested on the red carpet at the 2025 Nurses Ball. With that said, Tracy is also a multitasker, so maybe it won't take too long before she exposes Drew and Nina. Willow Tate Corinthos acted like a fool, all in the name of believing in Drew. She'll lash out at both parties when she figures out the truth and cut them out of her life. Still, will she slink back to Michael and beg for his forgiveness? Will he open a door to reunite with Willow for their family's sake? That remains to be seen, but one thing is for sure, Drew and Nina could turn to each other in the aftermath of all this. If fans recall, the very first time Nina and Drew did the deed in her office was during a fight. They began their fling off of his prison release, which Nina was to blame for, and a heated exchange of words turned into a passionate encounter. So Nina may confront Drew after their affair is exposed, angrily looking for answers, and one thing could lead to another. Despite how slimy Drew has behaved, and how disgusted Nina's been with him, she's sadly still attracted to him, and it wouldn't be too far-fetched to see her sink that low again. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Nina and Drew falling back into bad old habits would not be a good look for either of them, but in the aftermath of Willow's reaction, they may be desperate enough to turn to each other for comfort. General Hospital spoilers and rumors tease the arrival of Dark Michael Corinthos is only the start of devastating doom for Drew Kane/Quartermaine. If looks could kill, when Michael picked up Wiley Corinthos at the Nurses Ball, the look he gave Drew would have taken him out right then and there. It's plain Michael has returned with a vengeance, and the look he gave Willow Corinthos was just as bad as the one he gave Drew. But then he'd been watching them making out on camera at the Nurses Ball when Drew and Nina Reeves announced on the red carpet. Watching that on a smartphone during a 6-hour flight from Baden-Baden gave him plenty of time to stew in his juices, and by the time he got there, he was boiling. There's a very good chance that when Carly Spencer took child custody matters into her own hands, which Jason Morgan disagreed with, he called Michael. Not to mention Willow's inexplicable story about Michael refusing her visit, both Jason and Carly smelled a rat. By now, Michael has probably heard from Jason about Willow coming to visit him in Baden-Baden, wanting to discuss the children, and isn't sure what to think. Carly and Jason both thought it was Willow who lied, but perhaps not, and Michael is smelling a Drew deception and can't believe he'd go that far. Michael can't believe that he once trusted Drew as his partner in Aurora Media, and he's in good company. No one trusts the corrupt congressman these days. He will have to go to Curtis Ashford now to ask for his job back, and they both have an axe to grind with Drew. However, before he does that, he has other fish to fry, and that is making sure Amelia and Wiley Corinthos are unkidnappable. Jason catches Michael up on all of Drew's destruction that he's caused since Michael's been away. Drew's recent affiliations with Jen Sidwell cannot be ignored. Jason and Sonny Corinthos have long suspected Sidwell in the bombing of Sonny's penthouse. General Hospital spoilers show an encore episode for Monday, May 26, so you'll have to wait another day to see the exciting fallout from the nurses' ball reveals. Memorial Day is here, so as per usual, G8 is not airing an original episode, but instead will air what we originally saw on November 24, 2024. Sasha's baby daddy is back in town now, but on November 24, she took a pregnancy test in Maxie's bathroom and learned that she had a second chance at motherhood. In court, Rick causes Christina to have a meltdown on the witness stand as he tries to prove that she fell out the window when she tripped over a duffel bag, despite Christina wrongly insisting that Ava had pushed her. Months later, a crazed Christina nearly killed Rick when she cut the brakes on his car, thinking it was Ava's car. Lucky and Elizabeth get a big surprise when they figure out that Lulu woke from her 4-year coma and escaped from turning wood. They are desperate to find her and can't imagine how she could have gotten far. Thanks to hitching a ride from Cody, Lulu makes it back to Port Charles, but not before getting to know her ex-husband's childhood friend. All these months later, Cody has become Lulu's confidant and sometimes partner in crime. On Tuesday, we can expect to see Willow and Drew's reaction to Michael being back in town, and it won't be pretty. Willow was so proud of Wiley's performance at the nurses' ball, but then he called out "Daddy," only to run right into Michael's arms. Michael picked up his son and walked right out, cluing Willow into the fact that her time in court won't be as easy as she expected. Dante was still searching for Brooklyn on Friday and is going to finally catch up with her on Tuesday for some emotional fireworks. Expect to see a big blow-up between Lois and Brooklyn as well. General Hospital spoilers for the week of May 26 to 30 promise some interesting moments in Port Charles. First things first, it's important to note that the Monday, May 26 episode will be a repeat show from a November 2024 episode where Lulu Spencer returned to the little town. This is because of the Memorial Day holiday in the United States. With the formalities all done, it's time to dive into the drama, and it sounds like most of the week will center around the aftermath of Michael Corinthos' return and the Giovanni Gio Palmieri secret bombshell. GA spoilers suggest that Brooklyn Quartermain Chase and Dante Falconeri will hash things out in the days ahead. It's likely that Dante will lash out at his friend for never bringing him into the loop about their teen pregnancy and son. Still, both will also look to Lois Cirillo as to why she chose to place Gio with a Bensonhurst family member. Lois will struggle to explain her reasoning, but will they accept what she has to say? As the week of May 26 to 30 progresses, Dante and Brooklyn will reach out to Gio, but will he want to listen to anything they have to say? Meanwhile, Brooklyn will also have a heart-to-heart with her dad, Ned Quartermain. If fans recall, last week, Ned was very hurt that Lois knew about their daughter's pregnancy, but he had no clue. Will Brooklyn help ease Ned's mind about why she didn't bring him into the loop about this? Meanwhile, now that the truth is out, Harrison Chase will have something he needs to get off his chest. Will this be directed toward Brooklyn, Lois, or Dante? Speaking of the Gio bombshell, Cody Bell will carry a ton of guilt as he watches the fallout. Still, his cousin Sash Corbin will swing in and offer some advice. Can she help ease his mind? Elsewhere, GH fans need to brace themselves for an explosive confrontation between Dante and Lulu as the week wraps up. After some emotional conversations with Brooklyn and possibly Cody, Dante will learn about Lulu's role in Gio learning the truth, and he'll come in hot to confront her. It's safe to assume that any romantic reunion plans between these two will be blown completely out of the water. Over to all things Michael. At the beginning of the week, everyone will still be reeling at the nurses' ball regarding his return, his heartwarming reunion with Wiley Corinthos. As fans saw, Michael was taking Wiley home, But before he does this, fans should expect to see the two share a nice scene together, as the dad will tell his son how much he's missed him. While Willow Tate Corinthos and Drew Kane will try and stop Michael from leaving the gala, Jason Morgan will intercept them. Nina Reeves will be reeling at Nurse's ball in the aftermath of Michael's return, and will ask Sonny Corinthos if they can work together to iron out a compromise regarding the child custody case, for the kid's sake. Now that the tables have turned, it doesn't look like Sonny will bother trying to help Nina or Willow out with this. Regardless, it sounds like Michael and Wiley will be headed to Carly Spencer's house, and Amelia Corinthos will be waiting for them there. Michael will have a nice reunion, surrounded by his children and family, so fans should expect some sweet moments as he reconnects with everyone. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Michael and Jason will also catch up, one-on-one, later on in the week as Michael takes the time to thank his uncle for all he has done. In related news, Michael will also have a reunion of sorts with his secret baby mama, Sasha, as he has a request for her. What could this be about? Back to Nina, she'll confide in Maxie Jones about something. So does she tell her about her involvement in Drew's ketamine scandal? After all, Nina has to feel guilty about Tracy Quartermain's arrest, so she'll need to get it all off her chest. In addition, Nina will get some advice from Ava Jerome of all people. So considering her track record, will the Crimson editor follow Ava's words of wisdom? While on the topic of Ava, it looks like things will get awkward when Christina Corinthos Davis and Lucky Spencer request a meeting with Alexis Davis during the Friday, May 30 episode. Now that Lucky and Christina know that Ava and Rick Lansing are blackmailing Alexis, will they try to come up with a plan to stop them? Alexis probably will demand the two back off, but will they? Elsewhere, Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor will get hot and heavy next week in the aftermath of his surgery, so the two will celebrate his recovery. However, is disaster looming on the horizon for the young lovebirds, and could Kay's progress unexpectedly regress? While things are going well for Trina's romance, her parents' relationship will continue to crumble, as Curtis Ashford will have some reservations where Portia Robinson is concerned. In the latest General Hospital developments, Gio is reeling from a life-altering revelation about his parentage, setting off a chain reaction of emotional turmoil and vengeance. The shocking truth that Dante and Brooklyn are his biological parents leaves Gio devastated, as the identity he once clung to is shattered. What makes the betrayal even more personal is that Lois, the woman Gio trusted most, was instrumental in keeping this secret and orchestrating his separation from his birth mother. For Gio, this revelation wasn't just a piece of lost history. It was a painful unearthing of manipulation, rejection, and abandonment. His feelings spiral from confusion to fury, directed not only at Dante and Brooklyn, but especially at Lois, who masked control as maternal wisdom. Memories of her comfort are now tainted with perceived hypocrisy, fueling his desire for revenge. Driven by this emotional upheaval, Gio considers publicly exposing Lois. He begins collecting evidence, photographs, overheard conversations, and family timelines to dismantle the image she cultivated. His aim isn't physical retaliation, but reputational destruction. He wants Lois to experience the same disorientation and grief he endured. But just as Gio teeters on the edge, Sonny intervenes. Aware of the psychological cost of vengeance, Sonny offers not excuses but perspective. He doesn't defend Lois, but explains the complexities surrounding Brooklyn's decision, including the intense pressure from Lois during her teenage pregnancy. Sonny reminds Gio that everyone involved is flawed and that understanding, not hatred, is the first step toward healing. Sonny's compassion begins to diffuse Gio's fury. Gio questions his assumptions as he recalls moments of Lois' quiet support. Her presence at his graduation, her insistence on Sonny's involvement in his life. These memories challenge his belief that she was simply a cold manipulator. Ultimately, Gio steps back from the brink. He doesn't forgive Lois, but he chooses not to destroy her. He realizes revenge won't repair his past or rebuild his identity. What he truly needs is time and space to grieve and redefine himself apart from the bitterness. Meanwhile, Lois, recognizing the damage her actions caused, silently leaves the family estate. She doesn't seek justification, but aims to give Gio the distance he needs. Sunny, in an act of quiet compassion, offers her shelter, not out of obligation, but from deep-rooted friendship. Their connection, forged in childhood and strengthened over decades, becomes a quiet foundation amid the chaos. In the aftermath, no dramatic resolutions unfold. Gio hasn't healed, Lois hasn't been absolved, and Sunny hasn't fixed what's broken. But the storm has passed, and with it comes the fragile potential for new beginnings. In a town where secrets often destroy, the choice to seek understanding, however painful, keeps hope alive. This chapter in General Hospital is a powerful study in generational pain, emotional reckoning, and the difficult journey from betrayal to healing. As characters navigate truth and consequence, the story reminds viewers that redemption often begins with the decision to step away from destruction. Drew's once respected image is now under fire, largely due to his controversial relationship with Willow. Once seen as a stable figure, Drew has become a source of scandal and suspicion. His involvement with Willow has not only damaged his public reputation, but also revealed a darker side that she has yet to acknowledge. Despite growing public distrust, Willow continues to believe in Drew's integrity. She sees him as a loving man devoted to her happiness, unaware of the manipulative tendencies he hides behind his charm. However, Drew's past actions tell a different story. Reports suggest he engaged in multiple secret affairs, notably with Nina, which he intentionally kept from Willow. Adding to the concerns, Drew is rumored to have been involved in a devastating explosion at Sunny's apartment, which left Michael with serious injuries. More disturbingly, he is believed to have bribed medical staff in Germany to mislead Willow into thinking Michael didn't want to see her, an act designed to control her emotionally. Drew's alleged scheming doesn't stop there. Fearing exposure, he has contemplated securing legal guardianship of Willow's children, a move that would give him further control over her life. If his manipulations are exposed, Willow could face a fierce legal battle over custody, with Drew using his influence to try to gain the upper hand. As the situation escalates, Willow may eventually uncover the full extent of Drew's deceit. When the truth comes out, her emotional response could be severe. She may no longer see Drew as the man she once loved and trusted. In the face of betrayal, Willow could choose between seeking justice or exacting revenge. Her next move remains uncertain, but what's clear is that Drew's web of lies may finally be unraveling, potentially with irreversible consequences. In a pivotal turn of events on General Hospital, Sonny Corinthos finds himself once again at the center of family conflict, not as a mob boss, but as a father and grandfather fighting for truth. The long-standing custody battle between Michael and Willow had reached a boiling point, shifting from emotional disagreement to strategic manipulation. As the situation spiraled, Sonny sensed the fractures forming within his family, threatening to cause irreversible damage. Still recovering from heart surgery, Sonny chose not to act impulsively. Instead, he quietly sought answers, eventually turning to someone without motive or agenda, his grandson Wiley. In a heartfelt exchange at the park, Wiley unknowingly exposed a series of damning revelations. He spoke of Willow's secretive behavior, her emotional distress after meetings with Drew, and most importantly, her decision to keep her visit to Germany hidden from Michael. This innocent disclosure unraveled the core of Willow and Drew's deception. Sonny immediately recognized that this was more than miscommunication, it was calculated dishonesty. Rather than confronting the situation with force, he used the information with precision. The knowledge that Willow had manipulated the narrative while involving a child gave Sonny the upper hand. Willow was blindsided when confronted. Sunny's calm delivery, quoting Wiley's recollections, left no room for denial. Realizing the extent of her actions and the inevitable fallout, she relinquished full custody to Michael, requesting only limited visitation. Her decision sent shockwaves through Port Charles, halting what was expected to be a protracted legal battle. The court quickly formalized the change, acknowledging both the new evidence and Willow's voluntary concession. For Michael, it was a bittersweet victory. Months of emotional, physical, and spiritual hardship had left him vulnerable. Yet at this moment, he stood firm, bolstered by the unexpected support of his father. Sunny's actions not only exposed the truth, but restored a fractured bond with Michael. The two, long divided by mistrust and past betrayals, found common ground through shared commitment to protecting Wiley. Drew, on the other hand, faced a steep fall from grace. Once admired for resilience, he now confronted legal consequences and public disgrace. His manipulation, including bribing a German nurse to cover Willow's visit, became the centerpiece of a reopened custody case. Even longtime allies like Carly and Jason distanced themselves, disillusioned by his betrayal. Meanwhile, Willow's decline was quieter but equally painful. Her role in the deception tainted her reputation as a devoted mother. She withdrew from public life, grappling with guilt and loss. During supervised visits with Wiley, she noticed a change. Though her son still loved her, his emotional connection had shifted toward Michael, whose steadfast presence never wavered. Ultimately, Michael emerged stronger, not just as the legal custodian of Wiley and Amelia, but as a father guided by integrity. He refrained from retaliatory actions against Willow or Drew, allowing the truth to speak for itself. His priority remained clear: healing his family and fostering a safe, honest environment for his children. Sunny's involvement proved decisive. Far from the shadowy figure of his past, he acted with clarity and purpose. He safeguarded his family not with violence, but with truth and moral resolve. Through his efforts, justice was restored, relationships repaired, and the future of his grandchildren secured. In a complex and shadowy turn of events in General Hospital, Rick Lansing's sudden disappearance has thrown Port Charles into turmoil. The mystery unfolds with Molly Lansing Davis awakening to an ordinary morning, only to discover that her father, Rick, has vanished without a trace. As panic sets in, her attempts to reach him go unanswered, leaving her with nothing but dread and a growing sense that something is terribly wrong. Initial inquiries at Deception Cosmetics yield no clues. Rick was last seen at a board meeting before heading to a supposed investor meeting. As the day progresses, Molly finds herself at the PCPD, reporting her father missing, only to be met with procedural formality and little urgency. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan, operating from the shadows, is already several steps ahead. Reviewing confidential security footage from Deception, Jason identifies Rick's last known movements. The footage reveals Rick arriving at a meeting but never leaving. Jason, a former enforcer with expertise in covert operations, suspects Rick possesses explosive information that could upend Michael Corinthos' custody battle with Willow Tate. Sasha Gilmore, fearing Rick had discovered the true paternity of her unborn child, believed by many to be Michael's, confides in Jason. In reality, Jason is Sasha's secret husband and the child's biological father. Rick, if allowed to testify, could destroy Michael's credibility and shift the custody outcome in favor of Willow and Drew Kane. Complicating matters further, Rick might possess incriminating footage, obtained through a hidden camera, of Sasha and Michael. Jason decides immediate action is necessary. Operating under the radar, he assembles a covert team and orchestrates Rick's abduction from his penthouse in the Metro Court, executing the operation with precision to leave no trace. As Molly frantically retraces Rick's digital footprint, she discovers a mysterious encrypted email titled Midnight Protocol, but lacks the means to decrypt it. Unbeknownst to her, Rick has been taken to a secluded boathouse, where Jason confronts him with photographic evidence from the hidden camera and delivers an ultimatum. Jason demands that Rick sign a falsified affidavit discrediting Sasha's claims and nullifying his role in the custody case. Failure to comply could result in harm to Molly, a threat Jason underscores with a haunting photograph of her outside the PCPD. Back in Port Charles, Molly grows desperate and hires private investigator Lana Monroe. Their investigation leads them to Sasha, who reluctantly confirms her worst fears, that Rick's knowledge could dismantle everything. Drew, feeling betrayed by Jason, leverages his underground contacts, but every lead hits a dead end, indicative of Jason's meticulous planning. At the boathouse, Rick grapples with a moral dilemma. Though he drafts the affidavit, he stops short of signing it. Jason returns with escalating pressure, leaving Rick torn between protecting his daughter and telling the truth. The fallout of Rick's disappearance sends ripples through the lives of everyone involved. Willow's custody hearing is postponed indefinitely. Sasha fears exposure, and Michael remains unaware of the silent storm brewing beneath him. As the custody battle stalls, each character becomes a player in a far more dangerous game, one where loyalty, power, and truth are manipulated in silence. Port Charles now faces a chilling new chapter: a vanished executive, a daughter's relentless pursuit, and Jason Morgan, who once served as the city's shadowy protector, orchestrating a secretive campaign to keep the truth buried. The ramifications of Rick's silence may alter the future of every family entangled in this high-stakes legal war. In a dramatic shakeup on General Hospital, Gio's world is turned upside down after discovering a life-changing truth: Dante Falconeri is not his biological father. This revelation sets off a chain reaction, impacting not only Gio, but also Brooklyn Quartermaine, Dante, and Cody Bell. The secret surrounding Gio's parentage finally surfaced in recent episodes. Though initially believed to be the son of Brooklyn and Dante, a DNA test revealed a shocking twist. Dante is not Gio's biological father. This news devastates Gio, who has long battled questions about his identity and now feels betrayed by the people he thought were his parents. Brooklyn sat down with Dante to disclose the truth. Years ago, she was young, overwhelmed, and made the difficult choice to give Gio up for adoption. Believing Dante wouldn't stay or want to be involved, she hid the pregnancy from him. Although her decision was driven by fear, not cruelty, Dante was heartbroken to learn he missed out on being a father. To move forward, Gio requested a DNA test, seeking clarity. The results confirmed Brooklyn as his mother, but revealed Dante was not his father. This development left Dante reeling, just as he was embracing the idea of fatherhood. The truth shattered that possibility. He demanded answers, and Brooklyn, clearly shocked, was forced to confront her past. Privately, Brooklyn knew the answer. Before Dante, she had a brief but emotionally intense relationship with Cody Bell. When she discovered she was pregnant, she convinced herself the child was Dante's due to overlapping timelines. Now, faced with the facts, she chose to keep Cody's identity a secret, fearing the chaos it would bring. However, Dante grew suspicious. Conversations with mutual friends and subtle cues from Brooklyn led him to suspect Cody. The idea that both Brooklyn and Cody might be keeping secrets fueled Dan's anger and caused him to withdraw. Gio, struggling with identity and uncertainty, decided to take matters into his own hands. Quietly, he collected Cody's DNA and submitted it for testing. The results confirmed Cody Bell as his biological father. Gio eventually confronted Cody, handing him the DNA results and saying simply, "You're my father." Cody was stunned but responded with sincerity, stating that had he known, he would have been there. Word of the truth spread quickly. Brooklyn was forced to admit everything, not just to Cody, but to Dante and the rest of the family. She expressed remorse, citing fear and shame for her decisions. While Cody accepted her explanation with maturity, he made it clear that being kept from his son was unforgivable. Dante, however, reached a breaking point. The final betrayal ended any remnants of their relationship, and he walked away, questioning who Brooklyn truly was. With the truth in the open, Gio now stands at a critical crossroads. He has a biological father entering his life, a mother trying to regain his trust, and a mentor figure in Dante who still means something to him. Rather than dwell in resentment, Gio chooses to move forward with clarity. He cautiously begins building a relationship with Cody while maintaining contact with Dante. Though hurt, he gives Brooklyn space to prove herself over time. As this emotional storm settles, Gio's journey towards self-discovery and healing becomes a central focus. The young man is determined to define himself, not by the lies of the past, but by the choices he makes moving forward. While Gio navigates his identity crisis, another scandal brews in Port Charles. Drew Kane and Nina Reeves' clandestine affair is teetering on exposure, threatening reputations and relationships. As Tracy Quartermain quietly gathers evidence, a major reckoning looms. The next 2 weeks on General Hospital bring intense emotional reckonings, legal confrontations, and explosive revelations that reshape relationships and threaten long-standing family structures. Michael is back in Port Charles, emotionally scared but more determined than ever to reclaim custody of his children, Wiley and Amelia. His return marks not a homecoming, but a mission, one that challenges the current family dynamic and questions the legitimacy of the choices made in his absence. Willow, once deeply connected to Michael, now finds herself conflicted. In Michael's absence, she leaned on Drew, who provided stability for her and the children. Now, with Michael pursuing legal action, Willow is forced to reassess her past decisions. Were they made out of love or desperation? Drew, though not the biological father, stepped into the role with full commitment. His bond with the children and Willow is undeniable, but Michael's reappearance threatens this fragile family unit. Tensions escalate as Michael demands clarity and control, rejecting any notion of ambiguity in Willow's affections or Drew's influence. As Michael files for official custody, the legal fight becomes deeply personal. Each side believes they are acting in the children's best interests, yet emotional stakes are pushing all parties toward a potential collapse. Willow feels torn between two men, one from her past, the other from her recent survival. The looming court battle will force them all to redefine their roles in the children's lives and question the foundation of trust they once shared. Elsewhere, Sonny faces a crisis from within, not from mob enemies, but from a secret that threatens the stability of his family. The revelation that Gio is actually Dante's biological son throws the Corinthos household into turmoil. Once seen as a respectful outsider, Gio is now a Corinthos by blood, and with that name comes new dangers and responsibilities. Sonny must now protect Gio, not only from external threats, but also from internal fractures. With Gio's identity now public, rival families and enemies see an opportunity. Sonny reacts swiftly, reassessing alliances and reinforcing protective measures around his grandson. Tension also brews between Sonny and Dante. Though Dante is Gio's father, Sonny worries that his son's emotional approach may leave Gio vulnerable. Their relationship enters a critical phase, transforming from familial to strategic, as both men attempt to safeguard a child now thrust into a world of dangerous legacy and expectations. Meanwhile, Jason is pulled into a secret investigation after receiving a mysterious phone call. The cryptic message triggers a chain of revelations, all pointing toward Drew. But this is not the Drew everyone sees. This version operates in shadows, manipulating those closest to him, including Willow and Carly, and orchestrating events behind the scenes. Jason uncovers evidence of financial manipulation, covert meetings, and questionable dealings that suggest Drew's intentions are far from noble. What started as a personal inquiry becomes a moral imperative. Jason must expose the truth before innocent lives are impacted. especially the children who unknowingly stand at the center of Drew's secret power play. As Drew tightens his grip, Jason prepares for a confrontation that could change everything. The emotional betrayal stings more than any physical threat, especially when the traitor is someone once trusted as a brother. In a surprising twist, Isaiah and Portia emerge as an unlikely yet magnetic pair. Both wounded by failed relationships, they find comfort and danger in each other. Their connection reignites old emotions, but also risks further destabilizing Portia, who is still reeling from her unresolved split with Curtis. Their romance doesn't emerge from chance, but from shared emotional voids. However, with lingering pain and unresolved history, their bond could either lead to healing or ignite new wounds. The fashion at the nurses' ball did not disappoint. Who was your favorite? General Hospital's event of the season has arrived, and so has everyone who is everyone in Port Charles. The nurses' ball never fails to bring the drama, and 2025 was no exception. Secrets are being revealed, marriages are crumbling, and a not-so-mysterious guest is flying in. This year also brought the fashion, and these are some of our favorites. Nina did not love co-hosting with Drew, but we loved her gorgeous long-sleeved burgundy gown designed by MacDougall. The editor-in-chief of Crimson knows her fashion, and she did not disappoint. We didn't expect she would. Jordan would look amazing if she wore a paper bag, but the former deputy mayor stunned in a light green, fitted gown by Black Halo. Poor Isaiah looked defeated when he saw his ex on Sidwell's arm. Carly arrived in a dress in a perfect shade of blue by Chiara Boni La Petite Robe. We're sure it was hard to hold back from hitting Drew, but she kept her cool in cool blue. Everyone may hate Willow, but we could not hate her dress. Heads turned when she arrived in a red showstopper by MacDougall with her new short hair. We didn't need to turn away when she kissed Drew. Yuck. Lucy never fails to disappoint, and this year was no exception. We know it was just the first of her many looks for the evening, but the nurse's ball t-shirt with the red full skirt was just perfection on the host of the evening. No matter how you feel about Jocelyn, watching her tell Drew off was everything. Plus, she did it in a form-fitting black gown, accented with white roses by Halsey. The dress, combined with her hairstyle, was simply gorgeous. No list would be complete without mentioning Donna wearing an adorable pink dress by Talene, accented with a pink bow headband. It was the perfect look for Carly and Sunny's young daughter. Unfortunately, she was the only child in attendance. Where was everyone else? Our honorable mentions go to both Portia and her daughter Trina. We cannot forget the men. Curtis, Dante, and Chase all looked extremely handsome. Who was your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.